All right, Facebook, we look like we're on. I'm going to go check on Instagram. Cross your fingers for them because I have had zero luck with getting Instagram on. So hold on. Okay. I think everybody is on. I think Instagram is on. I'm going to let them come on for a couple minutes. It looks like about 16 people are here. So if you are logging on and you are on Facebook and you see me and you hear me, leave me a comment because that helps me to know that you guys are here and that this is playing live. Everything looks good on this end. I'm going to check on Instagram one more time. All right, yay! Instagram is working too. Best day ever. How are you all? It's been a couple weeks since I have got to do an ELA live lesson, so I am excited to be back today. We are reading another great story. We're going to talk about theme and a little bit about character analysis, and we're going to throw in some figurative language too. Yay, I'm seeing your all's comments now. Thank you so much for letting me know that you're here. I appreciate that. So yeah, pretty day in Kentucky. We're about at 60. I live just south of Cincinnati in Ohio, or Cincinnati, Ohio. I live in Kentucky. We have just had some really crummy couple weeks, like chilly temperatures, super windy, lots of rain. So I'm ready for spring to get here with like a lot of intention. Like I can't do these 30-degree days. Hi guys. Oh, yay. Everybody sees and hears me. Okay, this is awesome. All right. And don't forget, I'm going to say it now because I will forget otherwise. Stay tuned after this for a class fit lesson with Sporty Spice Teaching, I believe who is your all's trainer this week. And I have heard those workouts have been nothing short of incredible. So make sure you stay tuned after that. All right. We are going to be reading the story Eraser today. It's written by Anna Kang and illustrated by Christopher Want. It is a precious, precious story. Before we dig into that today, I want to go over a couple of the reading skills that we are going to be focusing on today. If you are a kiddo and you are here, let me know in the comments. Have your parents or whoever is sitting right there with you, let me know that you are a kid and you are tuning in today, because it's probably been over a month now since you guys have set foot in an actual classroom. So I am so excited to have you and invite you into my virtual classroom today. Because of that, we want to go ahead and set out what we're going to be talking about today. I mentioned that we're going to be doing theme. We're going to go over a quick definition for theme. Theme is something important that the story is trying to teach the reader. What message is the book bringing to the reader? Sometimes we call it the central message. So theme is our first objective that we want to keep in mind today. The second thing that I would like you all to think about is character analysis. Now, this can be super in-depth. There are many different directions that you can go with this. I'm going to let y'all take a second to read that. The process of inspecting a trait or quality of a character from a story. And what we're going to be focusing on today, and I want you to put this in your brain so you can think about it throughout the course of the story today, is how the main character, Eraser, changes from the beginning of the story all the way to the end of the story. So you keep that in mind. Two things that we're going to be working on today, theme and character analysis. Something else that we're going to be looking at that is not really, it's an overarching standard that we're going to be working on today, but also is figurative language, and we're going to be talking about puns. If you're not familiar with puns, we're going to get to some of them today, and they are great in this story. I want to go ahead and dig into our story today, Eraser by Anna Kang. Oh, and also if you want the printables and the freebies that I'm going to be talking about in today's activities, you can go download those at, I believe it's bit.ly/eraser activities. And that link is in the description of today's post. Eraser. Now, I know that sometimes it's tricky to see the pictures when I'm broadcasting like this. So it looks like we are at a desk. There are a bunch of different pictures on the page, and I see an eraser, a pencil, tape, a glue stick, some crayons and markers scattered out down here, and lots of pictures on the wall. And we see Eraser immediately doing her thing before the story even starts. Rub, 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 rub. And then, I don't know if you can tell, but we've got a really ornery looking pencil over here. He's kind of giving her the stare like this. Let's see what's going on with those two. I was just, testing you. Excellent. This is a red pen. He or she is the one obviously scoring the math assignment over here that Eraser just corrected. Pencil's got 5 plus 4 equals 11. Oh, let me throw some math at you real quick. What is 5 plus 4? You turn and you tell whoever is sitting right there with you what 5 plus 4 is, because it's certainly not 11. Pencil says, thanks. I guess I'm just good at math. Eraser's down there all. She knows that she fixed his mistake. You totally rocked that math test, dude. Pencil is so sharp. I wish I was as cool as Cobalt. Are you catching those puns? Puns are when words have 2 different meanings and authors typically use them, or people use them when they're being funny. Everyone thinks Pencil and her friends are the smart and creative ones. It's not fair. And look at tape and glue. They can get anyone to stick together, even pipe cleaners and buttons. And now we've got tape and glue singing Kumbaya. Now think about it. Why is it funny why is it punny, I should say, that they use the phrase tape and glue can get anyone to stick together? 2 different meanings there. One meaning is their literal meaning, what they can actually do. They can actually make things stick together. But in the sense of all the desk tools or all the school supplies, they make everyone come together and stick together. We all love paper. Whenever I see you, I feel like I can do anything. I love this comment. Listen closely. And scissors, well, she's just kind of scary. I don't run, ever. What do I bring to the table? Nothing. I just take things away. You make everyone look good. That's pencil sharpener. You do an excellent job. Ruler. I'm tired of just being the cleanup crew. Don't you ever feel like you're more? More what? Lunchtime is over. Everyone gather around for a science project meeting. It's worth half of our grade, I hear. You know what? I'm just going to make an inference here, and I'm going to say that Pencil is very, very bossy. He seems to take charge in a lot of situations, and he seems to be overly confident. Not you, Eraser. This is a creative meeting. How do you think Eraser is feeling right now? I mean, that's just rude. Everyone is kind of saying, you don't get to come to this meeting because you create nothing. That night, rub, rub, rub. This is going to knock their caps off. Ta-da! It's for a science project. What do you think? I know that's really difficult and light to see, but what she did is she took her eraser rubbings and she's made it into like a star flower shape. It's wonderful. Very modern. Uh-oh, this isn't looking good. We've got glue down here at the bottom. Can you see what's happening with glue? He's going, Oh, I'm sorry, Eraser. I'm all clogged up. Enough with the fun and games. We have real work to do. As you can see, Eraser down here is very forlorn. Pencil is like a dictator. Like, he is telling everybody what to do. He doesn't care that this horrible thing just happened to Eraser. He's just like, come on, we got stuff to do. You got to get on this. Later that day, looking good, everyone. Let's all take 5. Eraser! What are you doing? Helping? She's taken her eraser and she's tried to paint some trees for the diorama. Doesn't look like Pencil's too happy about that. Eraser has one job. One job. Clean up after me. It's not my fault she actually can't make anything except a mess. Ugh. Could you imagine if this was your own classroom? What if these were all students? How would Eraser be feeling right now, knowing that everybody is making fun of her? This is a terrible situation. She looks pretty angry. She's packing up her stuff. I'm tired of being Pencil's pooper scooper. Please don't go. We need you. Are you sure, Eraser? Fire away. So she's got her buddies, pencil sharpener. She's made little catapult here with ruler, and it looks like a cardboard tube, and it looks like she's going to catapult herself somewhere. I want you to turn and talk to whoever is sitting next to you, or if there's no one, just think real hard in your brain. Where do you think a racer wants to go? Think about it. Forward, my mail! Swoosh! So here she goes. She is flying through the classroom. I don't know where she's headed, but it can't be good. Whoomp. Some great onomatopoeias in here. If you can't tell, she's landed in the waste bin. Sorry, dude. Eraser! Hey, guys, look, it's Eraser! They actually look really excited that she's just landed on top of them. I wonder why. I am a huge fan. I love your work. You do? Well, sure. We're all first drafts. Without us and you, there'd be nothing to hang on the fridge door. I do. I create second chances. Mistakes make us great. She is having what we would call an aha moment. She is having a light bulb moment where she realizes she's actually not useless at all. She has incredible uses. She makes mistakes great. That's a very interesting thing to think about. Think about that for a second. How can mistakes make you great? We're going to be talking about that in a second. Meanwhile, back on the desk, looks like chaos. Oh no! I forgot to check my math homework. Here comes red pen. Oh, it's a big fat F right there. Every single problem wrong. Pencil. Ah! This is not good. Yeah! Look who is flying in, friends. Can you see who that is? It's all the first drafts. They've converted themselves right into paper airplanes, and they are flying into the desk. And I brought some, wait a second, let me back up. Hooray, we missed you. It's Glue and Whiteout. She says, I brought some friends with me. Eraser is back. Oh, thank goodness. They're going through my entire sheaf like there's no tomorrow. It's been totally bonkers. If you don't know what a sheaf is a stack of paper. Eraser, this is Pencil talking. I'm sorry. I think I need your help. Will you please help me? You bet. Let's get to work. What a great attitude of grace and forgiveness that Eraser is modeling right now. I'm really proud of her. That's really hard to do. Take your time. You're doing great. We can always fix it. You can see Pencil's having a little trouble here drawing a straight line. The next day, looks like the diorama is complete. Woohoo! The rainforest, red Pencil gives it a big old fat A+. Hooray! Everybody's like, yes, we're like a team. Like cooperation is kind of amazing. And now we've got Glue and Tape singing again. Kumbaya. Oh, we had the straightest lines for sure. That looks like we've got a marker down here talking to a ruler. Here's another one of those puns I was telling you about. This is yellow marker talking to pencil sharpener. You know, you make a very fine point. I want you to think about that. We'll come back to that later. And then Whiteout says, sure, I like correcting, but what I really want to do is paint. Thanks, partner. Anytime. And they're cheersing their juice boxes together. I love that story. Okay, so that story was Eraser. The author was Anna Kang, and the illustrator was Christopher Wayant. This story has so many, it's hard to even say like one specific theme because a bunch of themes come to my mind when I think about it. I'm going to remind you what theme was. Read that definition aloud with me right now. The theme is something important that the story tries to teach the reader, also called the central message. So it's like the central message of the whole book. When I was thinking about this, I came up with like 4 themes. So I need you to kind of like help me decide which one you think is the best. So let me grab my paper here. And I want you to take a look at what I thought the themes might be here. All right, I'm gonna hold that up there. Hopefully y'all can see it on Instagram too. I'm gonna read them to you. And in the comments, or you can turn and talk and tell the person next to you, what do you think the theme is? I thought maybe the theme was finding happiness, teamwork and cooperation maybe? What about second chances? Or self-acceptance? Or mistakes make us great? What do you think? What do you think is the theme of this story? Some of these are kind of like minor themes, while I think that there's one really great overarching theme. Let's talk about finding happiness. So at the beginning of the story, Eraser was really unhappy with herself. She thought she was useless, and that's kind of how everybody else made her feel. But when she changed her mindset and she talked to all the first drafts, she realized she actually was super useful, super useful. So finding happiness and self-acceptance, I kind of feel like those go together. Like Eraser really found her sense of purpose and that she was worthy just the way that she was made. And I think that concept applies to our lives too, right? We all are very, very valuable people. We are all not the same. We are all given different gifts and different abilities, yet that's what makes us unique and that's what makes us so great. I want you to think hard right now about a gift that you bring to the table. What's something that you really excel at, that you are special? And that's the way that you were made and you were created, and that you can find happiness and self-acceptance in that. All right, what about teamwork and cooperation? Kind of at the beginning, everybody was soloing. They were on their own. They were just functioning individually. Nobody was really helping anybody except those 2 at the beginning that were singing Kumbaya. But yet, Eraser and Pencil learned at the end of the story that they could actually be a pretty great team, right? All right, and then we've got second chances. Everybody was real nasty. They even made fun of Eraser, yet she was able to show them grace at the end of the story and give them all a second chance. And then the last one, mistakes make us great. So think about that for a second. Mistakes make us great. And like I said, I want you to tell me what you think this way. The theme is of this story. Which one of those really speaks to you? All right. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about, to touch on, was the character analysis. So remember what that is? That's the process of kind of inspecting a trait or a quality from a character in a story. And the one that I wanted you to focus on today was how Eraser changed from the beginning of the story all the way to the end of the story. So I want you to think about that for a second. Here's what I came up with, and here's one of the printables that you can download from my blog. All right, at the beginning, Eraser did not think she had anything special at her. So at the beginning of the story, she was like, I am useless. Like, all I do is take things away. And that was the message that all of these other school supplies were telling her. So that's what she thought. I'm useless. There's nothing good about me. She ended up leaving the desk and heading for the waste bin because she thought she was trash. At the end, though, she loves that she can help others make their mistakes into something great. And again, that's another concept that is pertinent to all of our lives. Whether you are trying a sport for the first time, maybe it's just learning to be a reader, it's trying a new skill, learning to ride a bike, learning to play a new sport, trying to draw something. All of those are skills that take time and effort and endurance and perseverance to make you into a really great anything. And guess what? You're going to mess up a lot. I have 2 little preschoolers right now. Actually, I have an 11-year-old too. And I can tell you that when they learn to ride 2-wheeler, all of them can ride 2-wheelers now. When they learn to ride a 2-wheeler, do you know how many times they fell off their bikes? A lot of times. But yet they had to keep up. They had to keep getting up and trying again and again and again. And that's what made them successful. It was all those mistakes and learning from them, learning from their mistakes, whether their mistake was balancing on the bike, whatever they were doing wrong, they had to correct it. So they had to make a mistake in order to become the great bike riders that they are now. All right. So then another thing that you can do with this is, like I said earlier, you can describe the theme of the story. This is another printable that you can download on my website. And again, if you can see that in the description, it's bit.ly/eraser activities. All right, so again, the theme is something important that the story tries to teach the reader, also called the central message. And so I want you to decide what the theme is, and you can write all about that here. And then what I really want you to dig into for that comprehension skill for today is I want you to explain this quote. Mistakes make us great. And I just kind of told you an example from my own life. So I want you to think hard, think about some area of your life, could be at school, could be at home, could be a sport that you do, whatever that might be. And I want you to think to yourself, mistakes make us great. How does that apply to my life? And what does that mean? And it doesn't even have to be in context of this story. This story was just a great springboard for having that discussion. So this, again, you can download that too. If you don't have a printer at home, you can just write this on a piece of paper. And I'm going to zoom that up there so you can see it. Mistakes make us great. Love, love, love that. I think that is so inspiring. All right, and the last activity that we're going to do before we get into our directed draw today, you know I love a good directed draw. Oh, actually 2 activities. So we want to get into those puns. Do you remember me talking about the different puns while we were reading the story? So a pun is, and I have an official definition for you here, a pun is the humorous use of a word, so a funny way that you use a word in such a way as to suggest 2 or more of its meanings, or meaning of another word in a similar sound. And I know that sounds really, that's a big definition. It takes some working through. Let me break it down for you easily. Okay, so I titled this particular activity, Why So Punny? Punny is not necessarily a real word, but it's a play on the word funny. And puns are made to be funny. So I created my own pun, and you may have heard this before, with the word punny. So instead of writing why so funny, I wrote why so punny because this is an activity about puns. There were plenty of puns through the story. I'm going to flash some up here real quick so that you guys can help me determine why exactly they are puns. But I did this one. Pencil's so sharp. Do you remember when they were all admiring Pencil at the beginning of the story and they just thought he was the best thing since sliced bread? Why is that punny? Let me tell you. It's punny because pencils are naturally sharp, right? That's a physical trait that they have. So if I look at this pencil right here, we can pretend like this is our little pencil from our story today. Sharp. Pencils are sharp. But in the story, they were actually alluding to the fact that pencil was smart. Smart and sharp mean the same thing. So you could say, man, you are so sharp if you did something that was really smart. So that is why pencil's so sharp is a pun. All right, I'm going to flash a couple more up here with you. And I want you to think about them. Think about why it's so punny. And sometimes you're going to have to think about who was saying it too. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, this one is from Glue. Remember when Glue was getting ready to sneeze all over? And he said, oh, I'm so sorry, Eraser. I'm all clogged up. Why is that so punny? Think about it. It's punny because have you all ever used squeeze glue before? I know you have. I know that if you are a kiddo in a classroom, you have used white squeeze glue before. And what happens to that eventually? Brand new bottle flows nice and smoothly. But when it gets all clogged up, it's really hard to squirt that glue out. But the double meaning here was that Glue must have also had a cold. And Glue was stuffed up and ended up sneezing. So it's funny because Glue frequently gets clogged up. But he was talking about being clogged up for maybe a cold or allergies. All right, let's do another one. Okay, Brown Crayon says, I wish I was as cool as Cobalt. Now think about Cobalt. Cobalt is a cool shade, a blue. So whenever we're talking about, we talk about colors in the color wheel, we talk about warm colors and cool colors. Blue, particularly cobalt blue, is a very cool blue. But the blue Cobalt Crayon was cool. He was a cool dude. He had his glasses on. He was leaning back up against the desk like that. So he was cool in 2 different ways. The shade of blue was cool, and he was a cool dude. All right, how about this one? Crayon to Pencil Sharpener says, you make a very fine point. Why is that a pun? Can you turn and tell whoever's sitting next to you why that is a pun? It's because Crayon was telling pencil sharpener he made a fine point. He had a good idea. Like, oh yeah, excellent point. But it's punny because what do pencil sharpeners do? They make fine points on all of our pencils. All right, let's see. Okay, one more. And look at tape and glue. They can get anyone to stick together. They get anyone to stick together because, again, their physical traits, they are an adhesive. That's like something that they can do. But they also, in the context of the story, they got everybody to sit around. Remember, they were singing Kumbaya, which is a very like bring you together type song. So they got everybody to come together. And that's why it is punny. All right, you got 30 seconds, maybe a little bit less. Go grab yourself a piece of paper and a writing utensil. I would prefer that you had a pencil so that you can erase. Is that punny? You think that's punny? It's like hard when there's no one here to laugh at me in person. All right, I'm gonna be drawing with this black marker. I have got a picture behind me. I've actually already traced this because it makes it easier for me to share with you. But if I go too fast today, don't worry because you can replay this whole thing. Both of the videos on Instagram and on Facebook will be saved so that you can replay them for the read aloud again, to remember the activities that I would like you to do, and to do this. Also, if you go to that site that I linked, that's fit.ly/capital eraser, capital activities, I have already uploaded this to YouTube. So if you are a teacher and you want to be able to share this with your kids in a virtual format, that link is already there. All right, so let's get busy. I think I gave you guys 30 seconds. All right, we've got our big piece of paper. We have turned it vertically, so it's up and down like this. And we are going to start by making a really large rectangle. But since we're making a eraser, and I'm going to show you the picture that I'm using to make her today. We're just going to go right from the cover art here. And I want you guys to notice, hopefully you guys can see that on both Instagram and Facebook, she has a lot of rounded edges. She's an eraser, so she's not perfectly rectangular. There's no hard edges here. All right, so we're going to start at the top. We are going to follow around. And remember, guys, I traced this in advance. So y'all be kind to yourselves. Whatever you can come up with today is wonderful. All right, we're going to go down this way. More with those rounded edges. All right, there we go. So you've got this kind of oblong rectangular shape here. All right, and we are gonna do 2 circles. I know circles are hard. So what I want you to do is I want you to get your pointer finger out. If y'all know Kathy Stevens, she's a phenomenal art teacher. I saw her do this trick the other day and I was like, I need to do that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your pointer finger right in the space where you wanna draw a circle. And you're gonna trace a circle so that you know what that circle's gonna feel like when you are ready to make it. And then before your marker even touches the page, I want you to do this. Make some circles like you're getting ready to make it, but don't let your pen touch the page. And then when you're ready, you're gonna go around and make a big circle. And if you need to erase, that's okay. You're allowed to make mistakes. That was the whole point of our book today. So no big deal. All right, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. All right, so now you have 2 circles here for her glasses. All right. We're not going to do any of our details yet. We're going to go with her arms next, and then we're going to do her legs. So this is kind of a V shape, out, in, okay? She has her hands on her hips, just like this. All right, and then for her hands, we're going to do a bump, bump, bump. Watch me. Bump, bump, bump. Got it? I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. I'm going to make that sideways V, and then I'm going to make 3 bumps. Bump, bump, bump. So now she's got her hands on her hip. All right, I've got to check on my time here. All right, we've got like a minute and a half to go, so we're going to do this fast now. Her legs at the bottom, one on the left is arched out, and then one on the right also arched out. To make her shoes, pull the chair out of the way here. We're going to make a line here and a line here. We're going to go down, down, bump, down, down, bump. All right. And then we're going to do her pigtails, which are a swoop like this. One on each side. Sorry, I'm going fast now, guys, because my time is running out and I want you guys to go do class fit. All right. And then I'm making her little hair ties up here. Her big black eyes. And then those last little details. We've got her glasses connected there, her nose, her mouth, and her lips. And there you have it, guys. There's Eraser. I've got to get off of here. I literally have 5 seconds. It was such a pleasure seeing you all today. I hope you'll tune in a couple weeks when I come back. Y'all have a great day and go do ClassFit. Go get your fitness on. Bye.